Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your 5-Star Review. I'm 5-Star Frank.
And I'm Bellasaurus.
And today, the moment of truth. We are going to review Batman v Superman.
Hit it!
Batman vs Superman. Now, we're going to touch on a couple of things in this video, okay? The overall story, a couple of the characters, and the ending, and what we felt about the movie, okay? So, before we begin, there's a lot of critics out there that are killing this movie. They're killing it. And I could see why they're killing it. But for me, anyway, we're going to see what Bellasaurus thinks in a minute. But for me, anyway, there's two reasons why I loved this movie. I thought it was phenomenal. The first reason, it treats you like an adult. This movie treats you like an adult. It doesn't treat you like...
You can still see it if you're a kid.
You can still see it if you're a kid. It treats you like an adult. I love that. And two, the second reason why is because it treats you like a hardcore DC Comics fan. Because there's a lot in there that there's a little drops and hints at stuff, which I got all of them, but the casual fan might not get them. You got some of them. But I loved it about it because I understood everything. So, yes, if the critics sit there and oh, well, what about this plot hole? And what about this plot hole? And there's so many plot holes. Shut up.
That's why I didn't read any of the
reviews. It's a fun movie. It's a setup movie. It's the tree that has the branches branching out into a bigger universe. This is very much a setup movie. You cannot compare it to Avengers and Avengers 2 because Marvel has built up to that. DC is taking a different approach, okay? You have to compare this movie to like The Incredible Hulk and Iron Man 2 because that was the beginning of Marvel's, and I think it's better than both those movies. So that's what I wanted to touch on first because there is reviews out there killing it. I felt that. Those were my two reasons why I loved the movie. You?
I love the movie. I thought it was told great. As a Marvel fangirl myself,
Thor fangirl.
I am an equal opportunity fangirl. I like all the hot guys.
Oh,
Captain
okay.
America,
I agree with you
Iron Man.
You're absolutely right.
Sorry.
I agree with you then. All right.
But I just thought it was really, really well done. Even for somebody who doesn't know every little Easter egg, I still got some of them from my Smallville days. And big Smallville fan. Big Tom Welly fan. But I thought it was done very, very well. It was a very, very good story.
Very good.
It was, the characters were really, really good. Mm-hmm. Acting was good. Hot guys, can't go wrong. Marvel and DC have that in common. But it was really, really well done.
Really cool. Really
and
well done.
I feel like, I would go see it again. Like, when I look at movies, well, was I worth, spending $60 to go see it the first time?
$60.
Between, like, the movie and the
movie,
food
popcorn,
and stuff. Like, we had chicken tenders, and he had a half a bottle of wine.
I was nervous.
And would I be willing to spend the $60 again? And for me, I would. Maybe not, I wouldn't get everything, food-wise, but I would go and see it in theaters again.
Yeah, I would definitely go see it again.
I always say you got to see a movie twice because there's always something that you miss when you watch a movie. And this point, I would go see it in the theaters for a second time.
So there's what we had to get out of the way real quick. Now let's touch on the movie as a whole, okay? Let's start with the plot. The plot of this movie, I felt, yes, there is a lot going on, but I never lost, until the end, we'll touch on that later, I never lost my interest in the movie. We were sitting there for almost 3 hours, and it didn't feel like that at all.
No.
I was totally pulled in the movie. I loved it. Let me touch on, for the plot, the story anyway. There's a couple of scenes where I got goosebumps. A couple of scenes were just, like, lit me up. And one...
When he saw Batman with no shirt on,
that was different. That was a different type of goosebump. But anyway... The one that comes immediately to my mind is the scene on top of the roof with Lex and Superman. And Lex kind of is revealed as the plot. I've been setting all this crap up, and I got goosebumps. That was such a strong moment.
He went like this.
Wow. Yeah, that was such a strong moment in the film, I feel, because...
Spoiler alert.
Oh, it's just...
You don't mess with somebody's mama.
Yeah, spoiler alert, obviously, but... He lets him know, I know you're Clark Kent, and I have your mother.
Which I didn't care for because Lex never knows who Superman is.
But it worked for me. I got goosebumps.
He knew his middle name, which was like super
Then
weird.
there's another part where The battle, which we'll touch on real quick too, the battle between Batman and Superman, why they stopped fighting, I thought was cool. I thought it was awesome.
And he never realized.
I never realized
I
it.
brought it to his
Both their
attention, I'm
mothers'
like,
names are Martha.
Martha.
But we're going to touch on that later. So for me, the story was great. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. The ending really kind of, for one little second, broke immersion for me and kind of made me start thinking about future movies and how I think they kind of hurt some of maybe a little bit, but it wasn't enough to make me say, oh, the movie, oh, forget it, everybody's right. No. So for story alone, 4 out of 5 stars. You?
4 out of 5 as well.
Okay.
And for me, it's issues with like character.
Okay.
So
we're going to explain that now. So let's talk about characters now. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with Wonder Woman and Lex and really the main characters there, and then we'll go into Batman and Superman, the two main characters in the movie. Let's talk about Wonder Woman. Awesome. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I was totally not on board with it. I hated it. I was like, how could they make this woman? How could they make her Wonder Woman? This is terrible. Oh, it's gonna rub it. Wrong. I'm sorry to Gal Gadot, Miss Gadot. You're awesome. She was awesome.
She was badass.
She was a fearless warrior, and on the flip side, she had this swagger, like this.
She's like, I know who I am, and I know I can kick your butt, so don't mess with me.
Awesome. That's all I gotta say. She was awesome. The fight scenes, the way she used the sword, the shield, the way she was getting hit and slammed, and she was smiling.
She liked
like,
it.
Come on.
I'm not scared.
I'm not scared.
Like, let's go.
For me, it's a 4 out of 5 stars, definitely. She was awesome.
I'm going to give her a 4.5 because she was, very, very sexy and smart.
Awesome. She was awesome.
When she was
Diana Prince, and then Wonder Woman, awesome.
And she was when she was Diana Prince, she was super sexy, swagger, good fashion sense, all the gold accents to make
she really did awesome.
To her Wonder Woman.
Awesome.
And then when she put on that Wonder Woman outfit, she had her,
when she,
what are the things called here?
The gauntlets.
The gauntlets. She has her gauntlets going on. She
saves Batman. Batman's about to get obliterated by a giant monster heat vision, and she was just like, She blocks that, and she has like this, and then she's revealed, and I'm like, oh.
No, and then she lets her hair down as Wonder Woman, and she's like, I know that I'm badass, and that's that.
Fearless warrior.
She's not scared of Doomsday one bit.
Not afraid. So that's with her. Let's touch with now the problem. Well, the one that like people have a problem with it and are killing him in the reviews. Lex. Okay. I'm gonna tell you something right now that you've never heard in any review yet. At least I think anyway. Okay. I loved it. I loved Lex in this movie. I thought it was so annoying, and he was so like with the tapping. Remember the part where he's tapping, and everybody in the theater you saw was like, "Stop it, please!" And the girl when he's tapping, she's right, annoying, just like that. Just keep going, like just it was great. I loved it. I loved Jesse Eisenberg as Lex. And listen, it's not the Lex you're used to, so don't go into this movie and compare it because you will be disappointed. Because it's not the Lex you're used to. And he always is touching on how abusive his father was. And, my father used to, I learned at a young age that all power is not good,
I think he was abused,
physically. Definitely
and
abused.
as well as verbally as a child.
And there's an old saying, there's a thin line between, there's a thin line, I think it is, between insanity and being a genius. And the whole movie, he's teetering. Because he's a genius. At the same time, there's parts where you're like, this guy is nuts. He reminds me a lot of, like, Jim Carrey's Jim Carrey's Riddler at times. Like, quirky. Like, he does these things that are weird, but, it worked for me. 4.5 out of 5 stars.
I think I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars.
She didn't like it.
Because it was a little bit much. Like, I don't think he was teetering on it. I don't think he was teetering on insanity and normalcy. It was just plain on insanity. And he was, like, little Tourette's about his insanity.
That's what I like, though.
It became very annoying at times.
It was annoying. It was.
And I'm used to, he's not to compare, but, like, I'm used to the Lexes of the past.
It's very different.
To the Lex from Smallville, which was different. I thought was a great
Lex from Smallville was great.
So, and then when I see Jesse Eisenberg, I see, Social Network. I see Adventureland,
Zombieland.
I don't see, this, diabolical guy. Yes, he was diabolical, and he, set some stuff up in the movie that, he's really, 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 really evil. But I think that, it was more evil than the Lexes that I've seen in any other movie.
Okay.
So I'm going to give a 3.
I agree. You can't
while
debate
he was a
it.
bad guy, and he, deserved the title of,
That's the thing about this character in this movie. Anyway, I feel like you can't debate your side with this character. You either loved it or you were like, I didn't like it, or you liked it. There was no like, well, let me convince you why it was good. You can't. Let me convince you why it was bad. You can't.
But I didn't love him.
Right. So there we go with the Lex character. Let's touch on the two stars in the movie then. Let's get into Superman and Batman. Superman.
Super hot.
Okay, that's it. So let's go into Batman. And no, I'm just kidding.
Super hot.
Okay, all right. Well, let's either way.
We're done.
Superman in this movie is really thrown through the ringer, like with media and like this. I loved it because it was like, okay, what if Superman was like alive today? This is how the government would act. You need to work for us. You need to do this and you need to do that. And it really was that. And I think Henry Cavill did a great job.
Yep.
Great job as that tortured Superman. Like, oh, I save all these people and they're throwing me through the ringer and this, that, and that. And there's a part where you get really goosebumps, and I really fell in love with the character when the Senate hearing blows up. He's set up by Lex, and it blows up while he's there, and he's just standing in the middle of the room. Nothing wrong with him because he's Superman. The explosion doesn't hurt him. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the room's dead. There's fire all around him, and he just has that look on his face, like
he got tears in his eyes. So he knows.
Like he knows he was set up. He knows he was, and all the people that died. Oh man, it was great.
It was a full house. That was like standing room only.
It's very much a conflicted hero, and I loved it. 4 out of 5 stars. Superman.
5 out of 5 stars. Superman, because not only is, of course, he's gorgeous, but I mean he does what he needs to do. He saves, Batman, all huffy about him, thousands of lives dying, and what happened in Man of Steel. But if he didn't see, if those thousands of lives weren't risked, then he would have millions of lives. Zod was going to kill the whole world.
Zod was going to kill everybody.
There was going to be nobody left. So he did what he had to do.
That's why I love Man of Steel, because he made that choice, and I got to do this, otherwise everybody's going to die. He
did what he had to do, and he had, and as Clark Kent, he was, nerdy and geeky,
doing
the whole Clark
beautiful
thing.
Clark Kent, beautiful Superman. Beautiful.
And he was like trying to find the story, and then with Lois Lane, he loved her. He loved her. They had their own little cute little scene in the bathtub.
Him, along with Martha Kent, those two women keep him grounded, like keep him from turning into this crazy monster that wants to destroy the whole world. They keep him human, which is. Let's talk about the cameos. The cameos as a whole were great. Okay. Flash was cool. His cameo, he saves a little grocery store and never, like on camera, it looks like he's in the same spot because he's so fast. So that was cool. The best cameo was Cyborg, because you saw the boom tube, the technology go and kind of make him into Cyborg. I didn't know about. That's I knew because I'm really a hardcore fan. But unfortunately, the worst cameo was one of my favorite characters, Aquaman. And Aquaman's one of my favorite characters, in top 3 in DC for me, and it was really stupid. I'm sorry to say that.
3 words.
It starts up basically. It starts off cool because his eyes are glowing in the darkness, and he comes out, and you're like, he comes out, and he's just like, first of all, he looks like he's underwater, and he shouldn't. He shouldn't look like he's underwater. It should be natural to him. It should be like this. Like, what's going on?
I didn't
he's
catch
like
that.
He looks like he's holding his breath. His eyes are squinting like he's underwater, and his hair is kind of like
flowing like Ariel in the Little Mermaid. It's all like,
and then he just like he's looking like. And then I'm like, what just happened? I was so disappointed with the Aquaman cameo because I'm all aboard with Jason Momoa. And we're going to have another video, FiveSTAR versus Bellasaurus, about the casting of Jason Momoa as Aquaman. We're going to debate that, but not this weekend, probably next weekend. But I'm on board with her on this one. That was stupid, that part. It was awesome when he swims away because there's like a sonic boom underwater. You hear it. It's like, and he does it like fast. But the beginning...
It doesn't look like Aquaman to me.
Not cool. But anyway, the cameos were good. Supporting characters were good. Martha Kent was awesome.
Lois
Lane was awesome. Alfred was awesome. Alfred's not a butler. Alfred's not a butler in this movie. He's like a gearhead.
There's a part where like Bruce Wayne's bringing Alfred a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and he gives him the cup of coffee, and he's just like kind of like sitting
back, like reading the newspaper or whatever.
And really, the reason why I ain't so crazy about why this movie's different. There's different renditions of characters because Alfred says it in the beginning. Alfred's like, everything has changed. And I'm like, all right, well, if Alfred says it, it got to be true because Alfred's the man.
Alfred's the man.
He's like a gearhead. He's always fixing the stuff. He's like Q. He's like James Bond's Q. He's making the cowl of the suit, and he's fixing the Batmobile. Really cool, Alfred. Awesome. All the supporting characters, 4 out of 5 stars. Just they did it brilliantly. Everybody really was great in this movie. For me, anyways. My opinion, guys. And let's get to Batman. Let me just go on record and say it now. This is my new favorite Batman. This is my new favorite Batman. Ben Affleck knocked it out of the park as Batman because I believed him as Bruce Wayne. He was awesome as Bruce Wayne. And I believed him as Batman. This Batman's scary. This Batman's scary. This Batman don't give an F. I'm telling you. He's just running people over and breaking people up and branding people. That's awesome. He brands them. The fight scenes, him fighting as Batman is Batman. It's Batman. Throwing the sticky bombs on the guns and flipping over this one and using
think of the Batman video games.
Arkham video games.
And that's what Ben Affleck
is.
Fight
Yeah,
scene.
he's fighting this guy, blocking this guy. They're trying to knife him in the back, and the knives are breaking because the suit's that. One guy walks straight up behind him in the back of the head, and it hurts him. It hurts Batman. He's like, but it doesn't kill him because it's bulletproof. So it was awesome. I just love this Batman. Just my new favorite Batman. I loved it.
Your rating?
5 out of 5.
I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Because I didn't care for the Bruce Wayne of it all. I don't think there was enough. It wasn't enough to show the Playboy that, because Christian Bale, he had it there. Ben Affleck's my second favorite Batman because I liked Christian Bale as Batman.
Yeah, but let's just say this: if this Batman fought any other Batman, he'd kick their ass.
He was huge.
Yeah, he'd kick their ass. He'd kick Christian Bale's ass.
Probably.
Yeah.
He was huge. He definitely, as Batman, he's a great Batman. But as Bruce
Scary.
Wayne, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he needed a little bit more. He slept with a girl.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. You didn't see
her,
her,
pretended
though. Yeah.
to be drunk.
Pretend to be drunk, that Playboy thing,
I just did, I think 4.5 maybe.
All right.
For Batman
good.
because he wasn't fully there for me.
Okay, well, there we go. So Batman's great. Let's really quick, because we don't want to take too much of your time today, guys. Let's talk about the fight, because it's Batman versus Superman, and the ending of the movie, which I had a problem with, but not really. So let's get into the fight first. The fight, as a hardcore Batman and Superman fan and DC fanboy, was handled brilliantly, I think. You think?
Yes.
Okay, this is why, guys. Let me touch base on it real quick. Superman, yes, if he wanted to, could kill Batman in 5 seconds.
Less than 5.
Very easy. He could just kill him really quick. But he doesn't, because he's Superman and he won't do that. He won't cross that line. But in this movie, it's handled really cool because Lex finds out that Clark Kent is Superman, which she didn't like. You didn't like it. But he finds out, so he kidnaps Superman's mother and tells Superman on the roof, that scene where I got goosebumps, he tells him, you're going to go and you're going to kill Batman and you're going to bring me the head of the bat. And then I'll give you Martha back. Okay?
But you only have less than an hour.
You only have less than an hour. So he flies to Gotham and he doesn't want to kill Batman. He says, he says to Lois, I need to either get him on my side to help me or he has to die. So right away, Superman's flying into the fight disarmed. He's not going to just fly up to Batman and heat vision his face off. Or super hurricane breath him into space. Or pick him up and just throw him out into orbit. Because he's like, he lands and he's like, Bruce, he knows who he is. Bruce, please, I need your help. And he's stepping forward and Batman's like stepping backwards and he's like, well, here I am. You're coming to get me. And into traps. Sonic traps come up and they hurt Superman. He destroys them. Machine guns come up and he destroys them. Everything he throws at him, he just disarms.
And Batman won't listen to him.
Batman won't listen. And then Superman he gets pissed. And he grabs Superman, throws him, goes through a building. You see it in the trailer.
No, it was like
throws him through the bat signal.
No, he just pushed him.
Well, he pushes him at first, but then he gets mad. And he picks him up and just through the building, through the bat signal. And then, you see Batman's on the floor trying to get up, and he's like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
And then he does the kryptonite gas, and that's how he weakens Superman to where he beats the living crap out of Superman for a little bit, which I thought was cool too, because Superman recovers from the kryptonite gas because he shoots a pellet at him, grabs it, it opens up and sprays kryptonite in his face, and he starts breathing it in, and Batman's like, yeah, no, you feel that? That's mortality, blah, 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 and starts beating the crap out of him.
I didn't like that. He's like, be a man.
Yeah, and then he had a suit on. She was upset that he fought him in an
armor on.
suit.
Like, you didn't fight him as a man. You fought him with your whole Hulk armor going
But there's the turning point of the fight is he's got him in the corner, Batman, and he's like, doom, doom, doom. And then all of a sudden, it's like bang, bang, bang. Yeah, and his head doesn't move anymore.
Thing breaks off.
And he's like, oh, it's like armor glove is like broke. And he looks at him, and right there, Batman shits his armor. Like, literally, he shits his armor. He's like,
smell it in the theater.
He goes like this, and Superman flies up and boom, dive bombs him, and then it's more of an equal fight with the advantage to Superman, because he's kicking him and trying to punch him, and he's blocking it and throwing him. But there are points where Batman blocks it and flips him over and stuff, so it's more even at that point until he completely recovers from the kryptonite gas, and then Batman's in trouble. His armor breaks away, and they're fighting pretty even, but then there's that moment where Superman's like, done, you're done, like I gotta save my mother, and he comes at him at full speed to like obliterate him, and what happens is he pulls out that hidden second grenade, boom, got him, Superman's down, and then he picks up his secret weapon. It's a kryptonite spear, so at that point the fight's over. So he's about to kill him, and he yells out, finally, which he should have just yelled out in the beginning of the fight. He yells out, he's going to kill Martha. And I never realized this. I'll be honest, I never realized this as a Batman fan. They have the same name. Their mothers have the same name, Martha and Martha. So that completely disarms Batman because he remembers. And at that moment, Superman ceased.
Why do you say that name?
Yeah, and then Lois comes in and says, it's his mother's name. I love that part. I thought it was awesome because he stopped being a threat and an alien at that point to Batman. At that moment, he was a man with a mother. And Batman was like, throws the spear away, helps him. I'm going to go save your mother. I'm going to help you. And when he goes to save Martha, Batman goes in there and just wrecks people because he's projecting his own mother onto Martha. And he just starts wrecking people. And Superman goes and let's talk about the end of the movie, which the only problem with the movie
Superman goes to confront Lex.
Lex says, oh, okay, if man doesn't want to kill God, the devil will do it, yeah.
Well, it's like, I don't see the head of Batman, so let's make a call.
He calls, and then Batman answers the phone, and he's like, oh, damn. Well, okay, well, then I'll just do my plan B.
I'll just release my monster.
Doomsday comes out and really starts wrecking everything.
No, it's the cave troll from Lord of the Rings.
Yes, it looks like a cave troll until it starts. When it evolves, it looks like a cave troll.
We had all the stuff coming out.
Yeah, the bones and everything. But the only reason why I had a problem with this part of the film was because I felt like, spoiler alert, I felt like the death of Superman, because he does die.
I don't like that part.
Right. I feel like that's been rushed because now at the beginning of Justice League, he's going to be alive.
Well, he has to be. He's already waking up.
Yeah, but you could have did a whole. I feel like you could have took this and you could have did a whole separate movie about Doomsday.
Yeah, but then you would have had to have a second-rate villain. Toyman is your
villain.
I mean,
like a lot of people say Metallo. They could have did Metallo because they could have used the armor from the ship and the kryptonite heart. And that would have been better because Superman can't do shit against Metallo.
But Lex was so diabolical. I mean, he blew the freaking Senate building. You can't.
I could see why. Let's put it this way. I could see why it doesn't really work for some people, and I could see why it could work for some people. For me, it worked. For you,
I mean,
it worked. But I kind of like for that 1 second, it broke my immersion because I was like, "Oh man, already?" Like.
I can see your point of view. Yeah, it could have been a separate movie, but it also works in this movie too.
It works. So. For me, it worked. It worked for me. I mean, it kind of broke my immersion and my thought process for a second, and I'm like, oh man, I did that already? Like.
But then the fight was so freaking awesome, you didn't care.
The fight was awesome. I loved the fight overall was awesome. So that's my only problem with the movie. I'm giving Batman vs Superman a 4 out of 5 stars. It gets a full point for the whole Doomsday thing at the end. Not because of the way it was portrayed, because I loved it, just because it was there, if that makes sense. And you?
I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 because of the whole Lex Luthor of it all.
Okay, I love Lex.
I didn't love him, but I didn't hate him. And I was very sad when they killed
Superman. It was shocking. Yeah. It was shocking because I wasn't ready for that.
I was like, in the other movies, so like, what are they doing? So
right, and that's why I feel like it's a little rushed here because like the other movies now, he's gonna be back already. I mean, it does work if he kind of comes at the end of Justice League Part 1, like maybe they're getting their butts kicked by Darkseid, and he comes back and turns the tide. That would be cool. But I don't know. So 4 out of 5, which gives us an average of 4 out of 5. Go see it. It's worth it. Enjoy it.
Very much worth it.
Yes. Thanks for watching today, guys. We'll see you next time on the 5-Star Review. 4 out of 5. Go see it.
Later.
Peace.